it's Ashley with You Need a Budget, and today's video is extra special because it's a collab with another YouTuber. And I feel like if you like YNAB and you like YouTube, you probably know about Nick True. His YNAB tutorials are famous on the internet. He has such a great way of explaining and teaching the software. Nick and his wife Hannah live full-time in an Airstream. I think at this point they're up to 4 pets. They own their company, Mapped Out Money, and then Nick does some freelancing. For us at YNAB, it's incredible to have a couple who's so dedicated to helping other people master their finances, be a part of our community, use our software, teach our software. So we wanted to do a collab, and we ended up deciding on morning routines. This is one of my favorite topics. I love watching videos on this, and I'm always trying to work on my own. So Nick's will be from the perspective of somebody who works for themselves and who travels often, and mine from the perspective of somebody who's working from home. I feel like I'm starting out at a slight disadvantage because things in an Airstream are automatically cooler, but I'm going to try the best I can. I will also have Nick's video linked in the description box, so make sure to go watch that. Morning routines are important to me. Not that I think if I wake up crazy early, I'm magically going to be more productive during the day, but I do think if I start the morning with a bit of intention, I'm calm, I'm not rushing around, and I have a plan, I do think that sets the tone for the rest of the day. And one small change I made, if you watch my habits I'm trying to build in 2020, is to charge my phone outside of the bedroom. It was too much of a temptation to have it on my nightstand. So easy to grab and scroll or check email and lose 15, 20, 30 minutes of time. So now I charge my phone in the bathroom, so when the alarm goes off, I have to get up out of bed and walk out of the room to turn it off. I used to struggle with snoozing my alarm until I read the book, The 5-Second Rule by Robbins. I've read the book once. I've also listened to it on audiobook. I think it's going to be one of those books I go back to each year, but it really helped me to break that bad habit. At least 2 times a week, I work out at Orange Theory Fitness, and for the past couple weeks, I've tried to see how I feel about going 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I think I really like it. So when I go to the 6:15 class. So as soon as that alarm goes off, splash my face with water, brush my teeth, put on all my gym gear. On days where I'm not working out, I actually don't have to set an alarm. If I'm not out of bed by at least 6, I have a built-in feline alarm that will make sure I'm out of bed so that I can feed him. So I come downstairs, make my water bottle, feed Bo, put on my tennis shoes, and I'm out the door. It only takes me about 5 minutes to get to Orange Theory, and the class lasts for about an hour. I was so intimidated when I started working out, but I think getting out of the house, moving, getting my heart rate up, and interacting with other people has been so beneficial. And weirdly, I don't think I would have ever signed up without YNAB. Not just being able to budget and afford it, but for so long, for over a decade, I told myself, I'm just bad at money. And it wasn't until I started budgeting with YNAB and learning the 4 rules, I realized not only am I not bad at money, but I really like it. And I think learning about finances, learning about investing is super interesting. So if I was wrong about that belief I had about myself, could I be wrong about anything else? And I had always thought, I am so unathletic, I will never be fit. And that's a limiting belief, and I don't want to hold myself back. So it's still very early. I only started Orange Theory in November, but I already feel a lot stronger. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where the year takes me. I'm normally back home by 7:20, 7:25, then it's all about making a beverage. Normally that's iced coffee, but I have been trying to get over a cold. So this morning I made hot tea with some honey. Then I will shower and do my skincare routine, the last step of which is a tinted sunscreen. And I like that to sink in, so while that works, I'll make my bed. I was not always great about making my bed. You know how all the personal development books say how important it is? Now that I walk by my bedroom so often during the day, I'm kind of all about that. So I will make my bed and then grab my laptop and come down to this couch and start journaling. This is what I use. It's the 5-second journal. I've showed it before, but this is the longest I've ever stuck with one journal. I like how easy it is. You start out by talking about your feelings, what you can do to be more energized that day, and then you narrow into one focus, one main project. And on days when I film, it's always the video. So in the section where it says, why does this project matter to me? I try to think about what I want the main takeaway of the video to be. And this morning I was thinking back to when I had a long commute and I'd be sitting on 66 and I would say to myself, if I didn't have to spend so much time in the car every day, I'd be the person who exercised, who journaled, whose house was spotless. And it reminded me of how I used to think about money. In our early 20s, I'd think, well, when we're making real money, when we're older, we'll figure things out. But you guys know, just because you get older or get a new job, you don't magically get good at money. And the same thing with the morning routine. Just because I didn't have to spend an hour in the car didn't mean that the morning routine just materialized. I had to learn how to prioritize my dollars, and I've had to learn how to prioritize my time. time. And now I know whether I have 10 minutes or an hour and a half, there are things I can do to set the right tone for the day. And if that is simply writing down one thing I'm grateful for, that alone can put me in a better mindset before I start the workday. Some days, not every day, I will briefly read. This is the first thing to get scrapped if I'm running low on time, but I bought this book because of Nick True. He had recommended Ryan Holiday's The Obstacle is the Way, and I found this one called The Daily Stoic, 366 Meditations on Wisdom, Perseverance, and the Art of Living. So it doesn't take too long to read. Then I pull out my laptop to budget, and when I open up a new tab in Chrome, I've installed this dashboard called the Momentum Dash, and it lets you put in your main focus for the day. So whatever I put in my 5-second journal, I copy here too. And then when I go throughout the day, when I'm working, every time I open up a new tab, it shows me the time and then it reminds me of my main focus. So if I get pulled in different directions, this kind of grounds me and brings me back to the intention I set in the morning. I really like that. And then I budget. And when I say budget, it is not this intensive routine. It takes 2 or 3 minutes tops. I simply open up YNAB, my bank, and my credit card. I compare balances. I will check to see if I missed any transactions. If there is any overspending, I will fix that. So I'm just basically making sure that everything looks good. And if you want to start the habit of budgeting, I would start really small. That's what I did. And I would just say, I'm going to open up my budget and look at it every morning. And once I got into that habit, it's never this huge task. It stays very manageable. After that, I'm back upstairs to do my makeup. And while I do that, I listen to podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. Of course, I listen to the You Need a Budget one, and I don't care that Jesse thinks it's weird and creepy. When I started using the app, I went back to episode 1 and listened straight through. I also listened to ChooseFI, and if you need 2 episodes, I am going to say Jesse's episode if you want to hear some of the backstory of YNAB and also Nick's. And I'm not just saying it because this is a collab with Nick, but hearing his and Hannah's story was so motivational to me. And the other podcast I really like is called Before Breakfast. It's hosted by Laura Vanderkam, who is an author, a productivity expert, a mother of 5, I believe, and she talks about tracking your time, which is an experiment I did last fall. It was eye-opening and a little bit shocking to realize how much time I was wasting, and I had been making excuses for why I couldn't do certain things because I just didn't have the time. When in actuality, I had it, I just wasn't using it the best I could. So her podcasts are really, really short episodes, so if you need a quick one to listen to, I love that. Once my makeup's done and I've done the bare minimum to my hair, I get dressed and make breakfast. I love all breakfast foods. I love cereal, bagels, eggs, smoothies, granola bars. I like it all. So once I have breakfast, I like to sit down at this point and look in my planner and see what the day looks like. Are there any meetings I need to prepare for? Are there any errands to run at lunch? And what is the plan for dinner? That is my ideal morning routine. Definitely not perfect with it, but 2 months into the year and I've seen huge progress. And Erin at YNAB said this to me the other day. Anytime we do something we value, it is a win for quality of life. And I loved that quote and I've been thinking about it a lot, making sure that I start the day with things that I value and seeing how that affects the rest of the day. So I hope you enjoyed this. I cannot wait to watch Nick's. Something tells me I'm going to be researching juicers and the benefit of celery juice this afternoon. So again, make sure to check out his video, which will be linked down below. But thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again very soon.